Wait, ENTPs have a dark side? I thought their normal side was dark. Yeah, that's right. The emo dark ENTP has an even darker side. Hello everybody, I'm TrebleKnight, and welcome back to my channel. I'm an INFP if you're curious, and on this channel I make comedy videos every single week. So boot that like button and subscribe if you want to see more. How do you get darker than the color black? That kind of seems impossible. Well, it's actually super simple. Just add the hex value of ENTP and boom, paradox black, the ENTP's favorite color. So in this video, I have 5 dark secrets about ENTP. Without further ado, let's get started. They're hella manipulative. ENTPs are well known for being super trolls. They can't go 10 minutes without scrolling on 4chan. But what most people don't know is that ENTPs are actually a kind of empath. Just not ooh empaths like INFJs, more like yikes empaths. You see, ENTP's speciality is cognitive empathy. So they understand your fifis, they just don't care about them. Okay, they care, just not that much. So ENTPs can use their cognitive empathy to be super charming, and this makes them extremely dangerous. They can get in your head, and believe me, you don't want them in there. They can be funny, charismatic, and even validate your feelings, all with the intention of manipulating you to join their MLM. They're shallow with people. ENTPs live in a weird place, where they're extremely deep when it comes to thoughts and ideas. Like, they have an entire about how Jesus is just Loki with a beard. But when it comes to people, they're pretty darn shallow. ENTPs are pretty guarded when it comes to making new friends. They just don't like to commit much. Sure, they'll have a chat, but they're not really going to get any deeper than that. ENTPs optimize their freedom over pretty much anything else. They find intimacy kind of suffocating. They're kind of like ESTPs, but in a less physical way. Remember how I said ENTPs are empaths? Well, they don't want to be empaths. They want to be chaos incarnate. And if they're your friend, they're gonna have to walk around on eggshells, which they don't want to do, so an ENTP is likely just to flake on a new friend. They're attention addicts. Why do you think ENTPs love to be trolls? It's because they love the attention. ENTPs are mega divas. Look, anytime I make a new MBTI series, I'm sure to get 20 comments from ENTPs saying do them next. ENTPs are obsessed with themselves. They fancy themselves as chaos personified. So if they're not the center of attention, well, they're gonna make themselves the center. To do this, ENTPs can get loud, they can get over dramatic, take things a little bit too seriously. Also, they can dominate the convo because frankly, ENTPs love to hear themselves talk. This video is sponsored by my Patreon community. Making these videos takes a lot of time and mental energy. If you're getting some value from my content and can afford it, then I highly encourage you to give some value back. And you can do that through my Patreon. Anyway guys, thank you for listening to this ad, and let's get back to the video. They're insecure. An ENTP insecure? Now that's just plain crazy talk. ENTPs are more cocky than Patrick in heels and fishnets. But the dark secret about ENTPs, all of that confidence and vibrato, it's just a facade. ENTPs look confident, they like to be trolls. But the secret is that ENTPs are actually kind of shy empaths. In some ways, it's like they have a little INFP inside of them. This is an ENTP's biggest secret and their biggest shame. They're morally flexible. ENTPs actually have a pretty strong moral compass, but it's a bendy compass. Look, we live in a world of nuance. Things are rarely black and white. Everything is kind of gray and flexible, and ENTPs love gray. It's probably their favorite color, other than paradox black. So ENTPs will be more willing to bend some rules, so long as they stay in that comfy gray zone. Another dangerous thing about ENTPs is that they're super good at rationalizing things. Since they can see every perspective of a situation, it can be really easy for them to justify their not so nice action. Lying, cheating, and stealing can all be justified to a certain point. Basically, a toxic ENTP is your worst nightmare. ENTPs are pretty dark, but you probably expected that. You might not expect that INFPs are also pretty dark too. I recommend you watch that video next. I've also made a playlist of all of these X-type is dark videos, so check that out too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special thanks to my patrons, Barons listed down below, and I'll catch you guys all next time.